This is the story of a man called Daniel Carter. Not a celebrity, not a tech genius, not someone you would ever expect to stumble into wealth. Daniel was 38 years old, living in Manchester, working as a mid-level IT support technician for a logistics company. He earned a decent salary, around £36,000 a year, enough to get by, but not enough to feel free. His life was predictable: wake up, commute, fix problems that weren't his, come home tired, repeat. Like a lot of people searching for how to build wealth from scratch, he knew one thing for sure: he didn't want to be doing this forever. The turning point didn't come from brilliance. It came from curiosity. In 2017, Daniel started reading about cryptocurrency. Not because he believed in it, not because he understood it, but because he kept seeing people talk about Bitcoin and Ethereum in forums about how to make money online for beginners. At first, he dismissed it. It sounded risky, volatile, a bit ridiculous. But something about it stayed in the back of his mind. So he did what most people never do. He put a small amount in. £2,000, money he could afford to lose. He split it between Bitcoin and Ethereum, then forgot about it. No constant checking, no obsession. Life carried on. Work, bills, routine. Months passed, then years. And during that time, something happened in the background that Daniel wasn't paying attention to. The market moved, dramatically. By late 2020, the numbers had changed. But Daniel didn't know yet. It wasn't until a quiet Sunday afternoon, when he randomly logged back into his account, that everything shifted. What he saw didn't make sense. At first, he thought there was an error. The £2,000 he had invested had turned into over £180,000. He stared at the screen, refreshed it, checked again. Same number. That moment should have felt like victory, like proof that he had cracked something, but what he actually felt was disbelief. Not excitement, not joy, just a strange, quiet shock. Over the next few weeks, the number kept rising. Bitcoin surged, Ethereum followed, his portfolio crossed £300,000, then £500,000. Eventually, just over £900,000 at its peak. Nearly £1 million, from a decision he barely remembered making. This is the part where most stories tell you he quit his job immediately and lived happily ever after. But that's not what happened. Daniel didn't quit. Not straight away. He still went to work, still sat at the same desk, still fixed the same problems. But something had changed. He knew he didn't need to be there anymore. And that thought changed everything. Conversations felt different. Time felt different. Even the idea of money started to feel different. For the first time in his life, Daniel had what people search for when they type things like how to achieve financial freedom early. And yet, something didn't feel complete. At first, he did what you would expect. He upgraded his life, moved into a better flat, bought a nicer car, took trips he had put off for years. And for a while, it worked. It felt like progress, like reward. But slowly, something else crept in. A quiet question. Is this it? Because the truth is, money changes your situation, but it doesn't automatically change your thinking. Daniel was still the same person, same habits, same patterns, just with more options. And the excitement started to fade faster than he expected. He noticed something strange. The things he thought would matter didn't matter as much as he imagined. The car became normal, the flat became familiar, the freedom became routine. And that's when the deeper shift began. Not external, internal. Instead of asking how to make more money online, Daniel started asking a different question. What is all of this actually for? And that question doesn't have a simple answer. It sits with you, it follows you, it makes you look at things differently. He began to realize that for years he had been chasing a number, believing that once he reached it, everything else would fall into place. But standing there, closer to £1 million than he ever thought possible, he realized something uncomfortable. The number was never the destination, it was just a milestone. And now he had reached it, he had no idea what came next. That's where most people double down, chase more, scale up, turn one win into 10. But Daniel didn't feel that pull. If anything, he felt the opposite, a sense that maybe he had misunderstood the game entirely. And that feeling is where this story really begins. In part 2, Daniel makes a decision that most people would never even consider. He stops asking how to grow his wealth and starts asking what would happen if he let it all go. At first, Daniel didn't make any dramatic moves. No big announcements, no sudden lifestyle overhaul, just small changes. He started spending less time thinking about how to grow his money and more time questioning what it was actually doing for him. Because the truth was simple. The money had solved his problems, but it hadn't given him a reason. And without a reason, even freedom starts to feel empty. So he did something most people would never even consider. He paused, not quitting, not walking away, just stepping back long enough to think clearly. And what he noticed surprised him. For years, his life had been driven by the idea of more money, more security, more options, but now he had it. And the drive was gone. So he asked a different question. If money is no longer the goal, what is? That question led him somewhere unexpected. Giving. At first, it was small, a few thousand here and there, supporting causes he came across. Helping individuals quietly without telling anyone. No grand plan, no strategy, just instinct. But something shifted almost immediately. For the first time since his account started growing, he felt something real. Not excitement, not adrenaline. Clarity. So he did more of it. He started researching projects, communities, looking for people who were trying to build something meaningful but lacked resources. And instead of watching numbers go up on a screen, he started seeing real-world impact. A business funded, a family supported, a project brought to life. And that's when it clicked. Money only feels powerful when it's moving, when it's doing something, not when it's sitting still. So Daniel made a decision, not impulsive, not reckless, intentional. He began reducing his lifestyle, sold the car, moved into a smaller place, not because he had to, because he wanted to. And with each step, something unexpected happened. He felt lighter, not like he was losing something, but like he was letting go of something he no longer needed. This is where the story shifts, from how to make money online for beginners, to something far more important, how to live with purpose after success. Before we go further, let's take a moment. If money stopped being your main problem tomorrow, what would you actually focus on? Drop your answer in the comments below. I read them all, and it's always interesting to see how differently people think about this. Because what Daniel does next is where most people would completely lose him. He doesn't just give a little, he goes much further. And in part 3, you'll see the final stage of his journey. The moment he steps away from the game entirely. And what he discovers on the other side will amaze you. By this point, Daniel had already done what most people would consider unthinkable. He had stopped chasing money. But what came next went even further, because he made a decision that most people would struggle to understand. He stopped trying to hold on to it at all, not in one dramatic move, but gradually, deliberately. He set limits on what he needed to live. Everything beyond that, he redirected. Into people, projects, opportunities, not random giving, purposeful giving. And the more he did it, the clearer things became. The life he thought he wanted was never really about money. It was about freedom, and now he realized something deeper. Freedom isn't just having money. It's not needing it to define you, because for years, like most people searching for how to achieve financial independence early, he believed money was the answer. But money was only ever a tool, and tools are only useful when you know what you're building. Daniel finally figured out what he was building. Not a bigger bank account, a meaningful life. He started spending his time differently, working with people instead of working for money, choosing projects that mattered instead of ones that paid. And for the first time, everything felt aligned. No pressure, no chasing, just direction. And here's the part that most people don't expect. He didn't feel like he had lost anything. He felt like he had gained something most people never reach: clarity. Because once you stop chasing more, you start seeing what actually matters. So what's the lesson here? It's not that money is bad. It's not that you shouldn't want success. It's this: if you don't decide what money is for, you'll spend your life chasing it without ever arriving. Daniel accidentally became rich. But that wasn't the real story. The real story is that he chose what to do next, and that choice changed everything. If this video made you think differently about money, success, or what you're really working towards, take a moment to like the video and leave a comment below. It helps more than you think, and I'd genuinely like to hear your perspective. And if you want more stories like this, stories that challenge the way we see success and uncover the hidden rules most people never question, subscribe to the channel. If this video resonated with you, give it a like and subscribe so we can continue this journey together.